of Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers held a relief distribution for fire survivors of Penjaringan, North Jakarta. Tzu Chi Chapter in Hong Kong and Malaysia held free health checks to safeguard the health of volunteers. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. We kick off the show in Indonesia. A fire broke out in Penjaringan, a sub-district of North Jakarta, destroying 182 houses and displaced 346 families. On July 1st, Tzu Chi volunteers carried out a disaster survey and aid distribution to help.
At the scene of the fire, survivors still search for anything salvageable among the ruins. When Yaya moved from Sumatra's Palembang to Jakarta in 1990, she never imagined she would lose everything to a fire.
I was doing laundry at the time and my child yelled fire. I thought it was a joke, but suddenly I saw the fire and it got bigger, so I ran. I could only escape with my child.
Following the fire, the local government soon established 3 emergency shelters for the over 1,000 displaced individuals. And after their initial disaster survey, Tzu Chi volunteers prepared 275 packs of daily necessities for the victims and 167 tents for residents to take shelter in.
I asked a few charitable organizations to donate tents because it takes a few months to rebuild houses. And in the meantime, survivors don't have a place to live. Now that you have given these tents, they will not have to worry about having a place to stay.
When we got word, we quickly mobilized to conduct a survey and aid distribution. I was surprised to see over 20 people present. With so many people, the event was quickly carried out.
Although Yaya's family of 11 is safe at the emergency shelter, the cramped conditions of the place, along with the lack of supplies, makes living there tough. Thus, Tzu Chi volunteers hope the relief items can ease their suffering for the time being.
At the emergency shelter, there are a lot of mosquitoes at night. It's very tiring living there as we have nothing of our own. The children do not have clothes to wear. We need to rebuild our home with Tzu Chi's subsidy. My husband and I can save up some money to rebuild our home soon.
With the sun shining on survivors as each receives a pack of aid supplies, Tzu Chi volunteers hope they will always be by the residents' side, assisting them on the path to recovery.
Rise from Taiwan continues to help the needy in the Philippines. On June 28, a large-scale rice distribution was held for some 2,000 families in Obalara of Quezon City. Having received help from Tzu Chi in the past, many residents brought their collected PET bottles to give to Tzu Chi and also donated their spare change to pass on the love received.
Donating the PET bottles they collected to Tzu Chi, residents of Quezon City's Old Balara walk inside the school's gymnasium in an orderly fashion. Today, volunteers are distributing rice to some 2,000 impoverished families. Standing among the crowd is Rose, whose face is beaming with joy.
I am really happy to receive this rice because it will help us greatly. As my husband's income is unstable, I usually can only afford 3 kilograms of rice at a time. Now that I have this bag of rice, I can save some money for my children's tuition.
As many families in Old Balara are on an unstable income, to have rice with their meals each day is almost impossible. Hence, Tzu Chi's 20 kilograms bag of rice is like a gift from heaven.
My husband is already 62 years old. At his age, he can't work anymore. We sell coconuts to sustain ourselves, but we make very little. It has been a long time since we could afford any rice. When I saw my husband come home with the rice today, I was so happy.
Tzu Chi's distribution helps us immensely because sometimes we really have no rice.
At the distribution site, apart from performing sign language songs to liven up the atmosphere, volunteers also shared the spirit of the bamboo bank era. Which inspired Dominador and Henry to share the rice with their neighbors.
My neighbor is just like my own daughter. As long as it's within my means, I will help them with whatever they need.
Tzu Chi helped my family, so I'm helping my neighbors with this rice.
Such generosity, even in adversity, is testament that love is endless and knows no bounds.
In the Philippines' Cavite province, to give needy students the chance to continue their education, Tzu Chi volunteers held a scholarship distribution for 224 underprivileged but deserving students from various communities in Rosario. Thanks to Tzu Chi's help, many students are now on the path to a brighter future. This is the scene at the Rosario Elementary School in Rosario, Cavite Province. Today, 224 students from various schools have gathered together and all are dressed in white t-shirts. These students come from low-income families and are here to receive Tzu Chi scholarships and new backpacks that are filled with stationery.
I always study hard in school and review everything I have learned. I have very good grades.
Tzu Chi gives me the chance to pursue a higher education. Thanks to the organization, I can become a college student.
Children also perform the song My Dream. For most of them, they only dream of going to school and having food to eat.
My dream is to be able to finish my education and learn valuable skills. Among my siblings, I'm the only one that can attend college.
At the end of the scholarship distribution, children respectfully offered their parents and Tzu Chi volunteers a cup of tea to express their appreciation.
I love you so much.
In Taiwan, Ms. Hu and her two children live in New Taipei City's Banqiao district. As it has been a long time since anyone bothered to clean up the family's home, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help, while also seizing the opportunity to teach Ms. Hu how to keep her living environment clean in the future.
Today, in response to a request of Guangfu Borough head, Banqiao Tzu Chi volunteers are visiting Ms. Hu to help clean up her home, which has become a source of contention with her neighbors.
Ms. Hu's two children both suffer intellectual disabilities and they are not in a very good shape.
Despite being unable to take care of her family, Ms. Hu at first refused the volunteers' offer. Volunteers therefore had to spend quite some time to convince the mother.
We kept telling her that we are here to help her clean up her living environment so that she and her children can live in healthy and comfortable surroundings. Once she understood that, she accepted our help.
After Ms. Hu agreed to let volunteers help her, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to clean up and to teach her how to keep her home clean.
Since they are useless, I have to throw them away. The best way to handle unused items is to throw them away. Now I understand.
Volunteers moved some of the furniture outside to wash, while also giving the bathroom a thorough scrub.
This is tiring, but unlike doing household chores or doing an everyday job, I feel immense joy from helping.
I'm really happy. Thank you. Thank you for coming here to clean up. Thank you very much.
We are really thankful for Tzu Chi. Volunteers are so kind to this community. I don't know how to put my gratitude into words. Thank you so much.
Next, volunteers install new fluorescent lamps and paint the walls. Thanks to Tzu Chi, Ms. Hu's house is clean once again, something that both the family and their neighbors are grateful for.
As the Taiwanese government continues to cut funding for non-profit organizations, some of them have had to transform into a social enterprise, such as the Zhang Shouju Social and Welfare Foundation of Taichung. The foundation provides a shelter for children of domestic abuse and will care for them until they're 18 years old. To help sustain the shelter, the foundation now operates a wilderness class and a cafe, with proceeds going towards the operation of the shelter.
This is not a game, but a challenge. Every time they leap into the water, these young children come face to face with their fears.
You don't feel safe? Alright, just hold on to your life vest. Don't worry, I won't let go.
By lending a helping hand when the children feel helpless, the instructors let them know that they will not be abandoned, which gives the children the courage to try and try again.
When we see our students tremble with fear, we will offer our support and help them learn to trust in themselves, their friends, and the equipment.
However, such trust has to be earned a little bit at a time.
I was pretty scared on my first jump. About 10 minutes later, I became hypothermic. The staff will adjust our training so we learn not to be afraid of water.
Some of these kids were victims of domestic violence or came from dysfunctional families, so they are afraid of interacting with people. Alright, the second team, come pick up the front. Don't sit on it first. Put it in the water first.
Through the exercises of Taichung's Sa Lun Dun Wilderness School, students learn not to be quitters. The training program is open to public and proceeds go towards caring for the children sheltered at the school.
This exercise where they all try to balance themselves on raft helps them learn to trust in one another and believe others will pull them on board if they fall.
Over 70% of children of abuse placed in halfway house cannot go back to their original family and must become independent. Typically, 6 to 12 months before they leave their shelter, they will receive some vocational training on top of character building.
Through various stages of their development, our students learn different things. Here, they are putting into practice what they have learned.
Here at the cafe, also operated by the Zhang Shouju Social Welfare Foundation, they learn to make a cup of coffee.
This cup here, I will give it 95 out of 100. See here? It looks as if it's snowing.
My first cup of coffee got a 95. I am so happy.
The lesson here is there are no shortcuts in life. The foundation will shelter these children till they are 18 years old, but they may stay an extra year if they work in the cafe, where their salary will pay for their living expense.
We hope children learn to develop proper work ethics here. Our staff and organization have already earned their trust.
After living here for 4 years, Xiao Du believes he is braver now.
I have changed a lot. Before, I couldn't deal with setbacks very well.
While Chong An, who has been here for 2 years, has also changed.
Before, I maybe attended school 50 out of 100 days. Now, I am in the top 10 of my class.
At the Zhang Shouju Social and Welfare Foundation, these children of abuse are given a fresh start and a chance to grow up normally, while learning to turn their troubled past into a source of motivation to propel them into a brighter future.
In our next report, we go to Taipei City to meet young volunteer Chen Pongjun, who volunteered at the Jingsi Books and Cafe at Novel Hall for 6 years. Despite her young age through volunteering, Chen has learned to cherish her blessings and has even encouraged her parents to join the volunteers' ranks. Furthermore, although the curtain came down at the Jingsi Books and Cafe at Novel Hall, Chen says she will continue to volunteer at the new location located inside the Esley bookstore. Putting everything on the shelf in an orderly manner is 11-year-old Chen Pongjun, who volunteered at the Jingsi Books and Cafe's Novel Hall branch for 6 years.
At first, I didn't know what it means to become a volunteer, so I asked an auntie about it. She told me being a volunteer is to serve others. I have learned that it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Before the Jingsi Books and Cafe at Novel Hall closed its doors, Chen visited the cafe every Saturday to help out. Although Chen is the baby of the family, she is still very humble. Through helping with the cleaning at the cafe, Peng Jun learned to appreciate the hardship cleaning staff go through on a daily basis.
When I wash the toilet, I realize what it takes to clean it thoroughly.
Parents need to interact more with their children. We can learn alongside our children. My child is the only person in our family that has volunteered at the Jingsi Books and Cafe, but she has helped our family change for the better.
The seeds of compassion in Chen's heart have flourished and inspired her parents to join the volunteers' ranks. Furthermore, Jingsi aphorisms have also become an important part of the Chen family.
I still remember once that a taxi driver kept honking his horn and I was getting extremely angry. My daughter then said, getting angry is actually punishing yourself with other people's mistakes. My daughter reminded me of my wrongdoing.
Although the curtain has come down at the Jingsi Books and Cafe at Novel Hall, Chen Pengjun says she will continue to volunteer her time at the new location located on the 5th floor of the Esley bookstore. While contributing their time and giving of themselves selflessly, volunteers sometimes overlook their own health in the process. To help volunteers better understand their health, the Tzu Chi Malacca chapter in Malaysia partnered with the PP Diagnosis Center to offer hearing tests for volunteers 50 and above. Meanwhile, a free health check was held at the Kowloon Tong Jingsi Hall in Hong Kong for 153 volunteers.
Before getting to work, volunteers first do a few warm-up exercises. Today, the Kowloon Tong Jingsi Hall has been transformed into a free clinic venue where the well-being of Tzu Chi volunteers are being taken care of. Services offered include ophthalmology, Chinese medicine, gynecology, chiropractic, with psychiatry being offered for the first time.
We aren't able to relieve ourselves of certain stress or anxiety. Sometimes we need to seek the help of professionals to provide us with proper solutions.
Consultation was conducted on a one-on-one basis. A doctor also shares how one's mental and physical well-being can impact quality of life.
The volunteers spend a lot of time and effort to help others, but I always wonder if they are taking care of themselves too. Emotional stress is something that can happen to any one of us actually.
Even a Tzu Chi came to receive a checkup.
Students are usually too busy to properly take care of themselves. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to receive a checkup to see if our health is in order.
In just one day, more than 150 members of the Tzu Chi family received a health checkup, as only with a healthy body can volunteers do more to benefit society.
Sometimes there is a buzzing sound in my ear.
When people call out to me, I don't hear them.
With age comes the risk of hearing loss. The Tzu Chi Malacca chapter partnered with BP Diagnostic Center to organize hearing tests for volunteers 50 years and above.
Because we are in the health profession, we provide different services for each age group. It's our responsibility to give back to society.
This is our first joint collaboration. This event was organized especially to care for our Dharma family's health.
It wasn't until after the checkup that volunteer Yan Shuqing found out about the condition of her ear.
After he did some tests, he noticed that my ability to hear in my right ear has deteriorated. He urged me to go to the doctor for checkups.
The checkups have not only helped volunteers better grasp the state of their health, but have also allowed others to receive timely treatment.
In Northern California of the United States, a dozen of teachers from Tzu Chi academies in and around the area gather at Milpitas to attend a teaching seminar. During the event, different approaches to dealing with students and methods of teaching were shared by experienced teaching professionals.
学生会 understand 什么，然后 essential
student based 的，不是我们一直 talk 的 base。
Exchanging ideas and experiences, teachers from Tzu Chi academies across Northern California gather at the first ever teaching seminar in Milpitas.
We need to first identify our goal and see what it is we are trying to achieve instead of teaching in a linear step-by-step fashion. We need to understand our students, think from their perspective, and see how we may lead them to achieve the goal.
达到这个目标。
Applying backward design to create effective curriculums was one of the ideas shared at this teaching seminar. With 30 years of experience, Zhang Kai-li also proposed teachers should tailor their teaching according to their students' aptitude, which is the most difficult to carry out.
Being a teacher, one must give the students what they need at different levels of their study. I think the best teachers are those that makes learning an enjoyable experience for their students.
At the end of the day, these teachers hope to take home what they have learned at the seminar and apply it to their lessons later on.
At the Tzu Chi Sanchong Grounds in Taiwan, Tzu Chi's media volunteers came together to attend a training seminar, during which experienced director Xiao Juzhen shared her filming skills and her experience in documenting Tzu Chi's story, thus giving over 200 trainees a new perspective on their work.
Today, Tzu Chi's media volunteers from the Northern District of Taiwan are gathered at the Tzu Chi Sanchong Grounds to listen to director Xiao Juzhen sharing tips on how to present Tzu Chi stories in a moving way.
When filming, you need to bear in mind that you are doing it because you are trying to touch people's hearts. You need to practice how to capture moving images in your daily life.
Director Xiao's lecture made me understand that the secret of a good story lies in its humanitarian spirit. You have to discover the beauty of humanity and show it to your audience. At the end of her speech, she mentioned the aesthetics of life and death, which was the most touching part.
When capturing compassionate stories, Tzu Chi's media volunteers are also perfectly positioned to experience the ups and downs of life.
As we start filming or writing, we don't think too much about it, but actually we should take time to notice not only the interviewees' facial expressions, but also their body language and eye contact. Through today's workshop, we have learned a lot in this area.
At the end of the day, a ceremony is held to celebrate trainees' completion of the class. Director of Tzu Chi's Culture Mission Development Department, He Risheng, showed up to present certificates to the trainees.
At Tzu Chi, what's important is learn to work as a team, especially for the media volunteers. If photographers and writers cannot work in tune, the reports will not be complete.
Through such practice and learning, Tzu Chi's media volunteers will continue to pass on more of Tzu Chi's stories to the world.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show. Under the guidance of their teachers, students at the DaAi Kindergarten in Tainan City prepared delicious vegetarian lunch boxes for their parents. Upon receiving the lunch boxes, many parents burst into tears. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.